You know the phrase that looks can be deceiving? Well, turns out that price can be deceiving too. You know in the supermarkets how they often have a sticker that says, this is the price per ounce or this is the price per unit. Well, it's not very common for cosmetics to have that same sort of sticker. So I kind of fell down this rabbit hole of looking into different products and how much they cost in comparison to other ones, and I found out some really interesting information just in general. That just because it's higher end doesn't mean that it's actually more expensive per ounce or per gram, or just because it's drugstore doesn't mean it's actually the cheapest option. Now, keep in mind that this is in terms of price per unit of something. So in this case, I'm referring to mostly grams. Some of the stuff I converted to milliliters, but I am mostly referring to grams in this. So that's an important note. It's interesting because I started looking at this and I started realizing how wrong I've been about certain products and how much cheaper certain products actually were in comparison. So I went through most of a full face. I'm thinking I'm going to make this into a series because I think it'll be really interesting to actually look at some of that stuff. Let's start with blush. So for the most part with the blush, I actually did powder blush. This first one is a little bit of a cheat because it actually includes a powder, well, 2 powders and a cream. But I still included it because the value of it was insane, and it doesn't seem like that when you actually look at the sticker price of the object. So the first one is the Cheek Clapper Trios by One Size Beauty. The size of one of those blushes are $38, and so when you look at it, you're like, oh dang, that's expensive. But actually, when you break things all down, you smooth it all out. Sorry, I'm looking off screen at my notes a little bit. Excuse that. But the fact is it comes with 3.4 ounces or 96 grams. Which is a ton of product. For the most part, I am going to be referring to things as grams and price per grams. So just so that you're aware, 1 ounce kind of measures out roughly to about 28 grams, in case you're not as familiar. That actually works out to 40 cents per gram. The Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush, which I actually really love that stuff. I think it works amazing. It's a really good product. It's a lovely, lovely item. It costs $5.99, but only comes with 0.24 ounces or 6.8 grams, which means that first of all, like the One Size Beauty Cheek Clappers come with quadruple the product. They come with so much more product. And this comes out to 88 cents per gram. So the Cheek Clapper is actually half the price, coming in at 40 cents per gram, whereas the Essence Pure Nude one is 88. The reason I'm starting with this one is, oh my gosh, it surprised me. The One Size Cheek Clapper is 40 cents a gram, and the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush is 88 cents per gram. That is not something I would have guessed. Which means that the Cheek Clapper one is actually less expensive per gram. That's insane, because looking at the prices, you would never have guessed that. So that was one of the most interesting ones that I found. Another one that's actually really interesting that might surprise you is the Juvia's Place blush. Those duos that you get, they retail for $18 and come with 1.14 ounces. That's roughly about 32.32 grams, which is only 56 cents per gram, which means that the Juvia's Place is actually cheaper than the Essence Pure Nude one as well. The Essence Pure Nude one is 88 cents per gram, and the Juvia's Place is 56 cents per gram. That's insane. And that's just blush. I want you to keep in mind that I'm not necessarily doing these based on which items are the cheapest. Some of them are, some of them aren't. It just kind of depended how it worked out and which ones had the best prices, which ones were like a really interesting comparison. Let's move on to concealer. So The interesting about concealers is that actually you would think that most of them would come with the exact same amount of product, which is just completely false, and I came to find out. But an interesting fact, the Too Faced Born This Way concealer costs $34 and comes with 13.5 grams. This is roughly about $2.52 per gram. This one is actually cheaper per gram than the Rare Beauty one, which is just $22. The Rare Beauty one only actually gives you 0.25 ounces or 7.5 grams, which comes out to be $2.93 per gram, versus the Too Faced one, which is $2.52 per gram. I thought I loved Rare Beauty until I started comparing prices, and I realized that actually Rare Beauty's prices are lower, but they tend to have way less product than most other brands. Another one that I thought was interesting, this is actually one of my favorite ever concealers of all time. It's the Kosas Revealer Concealer. That one is $30 and it only comes with 6 grams, which is $5 a gram. That's insane. In case you're curious, on average, so I added about 13 of the concealers up per gram. On average per gram, they're $3.49. So the Kosas one is way above average in that as well. Moving on to foundation. This one is actually a really interesting category because honestly with foundation, what you see is what you get. Typically foundations all are about 1 ounce or 28 grams or right around there. There were a few that had like 1.01 ounces or right in there, but actually for the most part foundations are pretty true to cost because they typically come with about 1 ounce. However, there are some ones to still keep your eye out on. The one that I thought was the most interesting with this one is actually the Too Faced Born This Way Healthy Skin Foundation. It is $42. However, it comes with 60 full grams of product, which is twice as much as most other foundations come with. 2 times as much. And it's the same price as most foundations. So, just to put that in perspective, that is 7 cents per gram for this higher end skin tint. I compared 12 other foundations to this. Most were about 97 cents per gram. So, the fact that the Too Faced skin tint was 7 cents per gram is insane. That is such a low price. Alright, this one again, really interesting. So the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighter is $6.99. That's what it retails for. It comes with 5.39 grams, which is about $1.30 per gram. The LYS Aim High Pressed Highlighting Powder is $19 and comes with 6.5 grams. It retails for $1.38 per gram. So a little bit more expensive. But, fun fact, the Maybelline Face Studio Chrome Highlight Powder is $10.99 per gram. Or not $10.99 per gram, $10.99 retail price. It has 6.8 grams and $1.62 per gram. So that means that the Wet n Wild highlighter and the LYS highlighter are actually cheaper than this Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter. Funnily enough, like I said, we all think that like Rare Beauty is so cheap and everything. This was a really interesting one because the Rare Beauty Positive Light Illuminator, which don't get me wrong, I still love this product and I understand that price isn't everything because a cheap pile of crap is still a cheap pile of crap, right? But this was the most expensive highlighter. It was $25, but it only contained 2.8 grams, which is 8.93 $8.93 per gram. That's insane. In case you're curious about this one, I actually compared 20 different highlighters. The average price was $4.96. Crazy, right? All right, moving on to powdered bronzer. All right, I am a huge fan. Okay, I'm a huge fan in general of Juvia's Place. Juvia's Place sells a bronzed duo for just $20, and it comes with 32.32 grams of product, which is 62 cents per gram, which means that the Juvia's Place duo is actually cheaper than the L'Oreal Infallible bronzer that everyone is so obsessed with right now. The L'Oreal Infallible bronzer is $15.99, comes with only 8.79 grams of product, and is $1.82 per gram, which means that coming in at 62 cents per gram, less than half the price. Also, this is another interesting one. This is another, technically it's a higher end drugstore product, but the Flower Beauty Luminous Heat Wave Bronzer, $12.49. It comes with 5 grams and 67, it comes with 5.67 grams of product, and it is $2.20 per gram. So you're way better off buying like the Juvia's Place or even the L'Oreal Infallible one. If you're interested, I compared 16 different bronzers on that. The average price was $3.05 per gram on that. All right, moving on. I was so interested in this. Hopefully you guys find this as interesting as I did, because I just like couldn't get enough. The more I looked at, the more I was like, what in the world? All right, next one, eye primer. I need eye primer. My eyeshadow will not stay without it, and so I use it every day. But eye primer, the MAC Prep and Prime eye primer is $28, which is only for 11.8 milliliters. That is actually $2.37 per milliliter. That's actually cheaper than the Fenty Pro Filter eye primer, which is $22 and comes out to $2.75 per milliliter. I just you can't make this stuff up. It's insane. Lastly, we have face primer, and I don't always use face primer. I don't think it's always necessary, but it might interest you to find that the Milk Hydro Grip Makeup Primer, which is $38. It seems really expensive, right? $38. It comes with 45 milliliters of product, 84 cents per milliliter, versus the Rare Beauty Pore Diffusing Primer is only $28, which is, and it comes with 28 milliliters of product, so about an ounce, a little bit less than. It's $1 per milliliter. So it's actually cheaper to buy the Milk Makeup one, which everybody is obsessed with right now anyways. Now, needless to say, there are better options out here. I didn't always mention the cheapest option in this. For instance, the loose setting powder. The cheapest loose setting powder was actually the Coty Airspun powder. I feel like it should be no surprise to anyone that that one's the cheapest, because it's about $6.74 per package of it, and it comes with 2.3 ounces, which is a ton of product. That's 65.2 grams, right around there. That's only 10 cents per gram of product. However, funnily enough, the One Size Beauty blurring setting powder, which retails for $34, is just 99 cents per gram, and it's actually cheaper than the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder, which is $1.18 per gram, because the e.l.f. Halo Glow comes with so little product. It comes with just like a few grams of product. So make sure that you're checking what you're actually buying, because a lot of the time the price is a little bit deceiving. Sometimes you are getting a better deal at the drugstore and sometimes you're not. Now, needless to say, I mentioned this before, a cheap pile of crap is still a cheap pile of crap, just as an expensive pile of crap is the same thing. But I got to thinking about this, and it's actually fairly easy to dupe us because sometimes we think like, oh, it's more expensive because the sticker price is more expensive. But if you're going through that product so quickly and you need to repurchase it every month or so, or I don't know how often you need to repurchase your makeup. I go through a lot of makeup. But if you need to repurchase it that often, if you paid just slightly more and could get something that was like 3 times the amount of product or 2 times the amount of product, would that be worth it? I got to thinking about that, and it makes me wonder how often people are actually looking at the sticker price and how much they're getting per. So hopefully something to consider. I'll talk to you later. Bye!